Hello, awesome people. I hope you're having a great day today. Today we're taking a look at the 1973 short story that was published posthumously by William Hope Hodgson in the Weird Tales collection. It's the last one. It was 9 pages long. It's one of the shortest ones in this 10 story collection that we've been doing a deep dive for you folks. It was published again in 73. He died in 1918, so this was published decades later posthumously for you folks. So I knocked it out last night in about 20 minutes or so, pretty quickly. I've been blowing through his stuff. It doesn't take me that long to read because, like contemporary people, like an August Derleth or an H.P. Lovecraft or Clark Ashton Smith, which can be denser and longer to read. This is very, very fast, even though this collection is oversized. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, so now let's take a look at this short story, the last one in his collection for you folks. This guy published a lot of stuff during his lifetime, but mostly just his horror stuff has remained. And then he also has a novel that's been published by the Penguin Classics. One of his classic novels is called The Nightland, which I haven't read yet, but I actually own a copy of for you folks. So let's take a look at this, the final short story in this collection for you folks. I'm going to be giving this probably just a 7 out of 10. It wasn't that great a way to end everything, but it wasn't bad either. I'm glad that I read it, but it's not the best thing I've ever read. It didn't use, I think it's 9 pages super well to tell this really gripping tale. It's set on a boat, like a lot of his horror short stories, because he was in the Navy. So a lot of his horror short stories, he wrote what he knew. So they have this that are all set on a boat. Most of the ones that don't involve the Ghost Hunter series. That stars Karnacki. But anyway, it's set on a boat. They see a light, him and the second mate, and he's the captain's apprentice. And the captain's apprentice wife has just died after a short marriage, young. And so he's now gone into a tragedy in a dark place and has been very despondent for a while on the boat. We'll find out in the first couple paragraphs. Anyway, they see a light at night. It looks like purple, like a wedge on the sea, and he thinks, and our main character says that it looks like a corpse candle, but then they get closer and closer to it, and then they realize that it's something much more important, and then what it is the secret of this story for you folks. So there you are. That is the short story for you folks. It's a lot of fun. And I definitely liked it, but again, I'm only giving it a 7 out of 10. Not even a 7 plus, a 7.2 or 7.3. But anyway, so there you go. I'll go ahead and leave it to you. If one of my short stories that were published posthumously decades after I lived, and then somebody was reading it like 100 years after I died, and saying I got a 7 out of 10 with this short story that was published posthumously, I'd be fine with that, right? I think everybody would be pretty happy with this. I don't think William Hope Hodgson would be losing any sleep. Anyway, I picked up a collection of his horror stuff about 15 years ago or so when I was doing a deep dive into older horror works from the pulp era, after reading some H.P. Lovecraft stuff and other stuff in the early generations of the Cthulhu mythos. And so I picked up a lot of contemporaneous stuff in that era, liked it, but I lost the collection when I did a move, so I've never been reintroduced to it since then. And then I read a short story called The Voice in the Night, which is in this collection too, and a horror collection recently, and I said, let's knock out the rest of it. Let's pick up another collection and go back and reread this stuff. So I did that for you folks. I have enjoyed it, and this is the end of that journey. Last night was pretty short, at just 9 pages. It didn't take me that long. For you folks. So I've knocked out another horror collection for you folks. So anyway, so there you are. As a reminder, the channel's name, The Worst Thing About New Books, is a quote by a French philosopher, Jacques Joubert. So that's the worst thing about them was that they kept us from reading the old books. And a 1973 work that was published posthumously by a guy who died in 1918 rather, is definitely an older work. That's the passion where I get my love of those older works from. So anyway, so have you read this short story by William Hope Hodgson? If so, what did you think about it? Let's talk about it in the comments below. If you want to talk about, if you agreed with my 7 out of 10 or disagree with it, let's talk about that too. If you want to talk about the ending, let's talk about that too, because I thought that was fun. If you enjoyed this, why not hit that subscribe button? There's a lot more of these to follow. And then finally, I want to thank you so much for taking some time out of your day and investing it and watching my video. We all have so many things that are happening in our lives, and we're pulled in so many different directions. So the fact that you spent this time with me is incredibly humbling, and I appreciate it. So thanks again, and have an amazing day.